Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Superwinch hand hauler portable battery powered winch. This is going to be a great option for you if you find yourself needing to move light loads in a variety of different situations. Maybe places where you can't always reach with a vehicle, or you just don't want to mount a winch to your vehicle. This can handle some light loads up to 1,000 pounds or even hoist 800 pounds in the air, so it's pretty capable. Let's check it out though. The winch is going to have a brushless DC motor inside, powered by a 2 amp hour lithium-ion battery. And to control it, you can use the controls on it, or when it's under load, I'd advise using the remote. You're going to get a cord that's 13 feet long, or you can wirelessly operate it up to 50 feet. Now we've got plenty of things to drag around at etrailer, but I brought something from home so that we can really put this thing to the test. I've got my 200-pound Atlas stone and a 200-pound sandbag, so we can dial in that weight a little bit more precisely and see how it performs. So as I reel this in, a couple things to note. It's pretty slow, but it's going at a steady pace here, especially dragging through some pretty unforgiving gravel terrain here. And with this, you're gonna get 28 feet of synthetic rope. So it's pretty long. If you can't get super close to the thing you're trying to move, you should have enough reach to get there. And the motor is a little bit on the loud side. I wouldn't say it's anything obnoxious, and hopefully it's not overpowering my voice too much on the microphone here, but overall, I'd say it's pretty simple to use and it's performing pretty well. So the LED screen on the winch is going to display some power information like your battery level, or when I crank it, it's going to have a little number that pops up there when it's in use. That's basically just trying to show you your percentage of pulling power being used. So yes, we have 400 pounds loaded up there, but we're not pulling at 40%. I think that's partially because the gravel beneath us is providing a little less friction, so as it's pulling, it doesn't feel like it's pulling that full 400 pounds. Really, I think that's a helpful tool if you're just a little unsure of what you're pulling, how heavy it's gonna be, to make sure that you're not overloading the winch or the rope here. That way you can hopefully avoid a potentially disastrous situation trying to overload it. But let's take some of the tension off this winch and take a closer look at some of the pieces. I'll just go the other direction to release that. And once I've got it loose enough, I can unhook it from our hitch. And you see on this side, we've got this rotating clevis style hook. This is gonna be your anchor to something solid when you are hooking up. Depending on what you're hooking up to though, if you don't have a hitch or something like that, you might consider picking up something like a tree saver strap. So if you need to wrap around a pole or a tree, that would give you a good hook point. You can find those on our site if you do need them. And it's important because I think you probably will need extra pieces like that to make this kit work. And I'll show you what I mean on the Atlas stone side over here. And here's a better look at what I mean. We're using an extra strap wrapped around our tire right now because the soft loop end of the winch that's actually going to tie off to the thing you're hauling isn't very big. And we ran into issues trying to wrap it around the tire just not being big enough. Now the way you've got this all set up is pretty interesting. It's going to give you a knotted end and this double looped end of your strap. It's pretty difficult to undo because we had it under a good amount of tension there, but that's a better look at it undone. So you just wrap this around the thing you're hauling and you can kind of see what I mean. This is not very big, so you likely will need some sort of anchor point to wrap around things that you're hauling. They do give you a short bit of protective fabric there, but if you're wrapping around something that has a hard or sharp edge, I definitely would recommend using something like a metal shackle and tying off to that instead, because any hard or sharp edges, it's going to cause this synthetic rope material to fray, get damaged, and eventually fail. Now, when you're not under load and you're looking to either spool out or retract in that rope, they advise you keep some tension on it with your hand so it rolls up tight. And the controls for that on the winch are really easy. You just got a trigger that you can pull to operate it, and this little blue switch that you use to control the direction. It's a lot like the controls for something like a drill. So if you're familiar at all with using a tool like that, this will feel extremely familiar. Now, as we start to get closer to the end here, that's where this plate and spring come into play. It basically prevents this thing from being retracted too far in. And the same goes for when you're extending it out. There's a little bit of red indicator on there that if you ever see it, you know you've gone too far. But really, as you go towards the end there, the rope will get a little bit thicker and it'll start to just reverse the direction. So once you see the rope thicken up or you see that red, you know to stop. A few other controls on the side here. You got your power switch, which you can just turn the winch on and off with. And then down at the bottom is where we've connected our remote. That collar just threads on, and once it's unthreaded, you can just unplug it. That's the same port that your AC charger is going to plug into as well. So when you're ready to charge the unit, you just charge it from there. The battery stays in. But the battery does detach, and it will ship to you not installed. So that's how you'd remove it and potentially replace it if you needed to. There's no charging port directly on the battery though, just a small indicator on the side where you can press the button and see the battery level. And if you needed to replace it, it would just snap right in. It's, again, just very similar to like a battery-powered drill or something. Now, as for the remote, controls here are going to be pretty simple too, and I do have it in the wireless mode now. In and out just controls the direction we're going with the winch, whether we're retracting it in or pulling it out. The on-off button here is just to control whether or not you're putting it in the wireless mode or not. And these two indicators on the side have little LEDs behind them, so when we're fully retracted or fully reeled out, it'll give you a bit of an indicator light there to let you know when you've reached that point and to stop operating it. Now those LEDs are there, but honestly they are so dim it's almost impossible to see, especially if you're outdoors. But once you reach the max, it just stops going, and it will display a code on that little LED screen that you can associate to a bunch of codes found in the instructions. This one, E1, means that we're just maximum retracted. There's one for when you're at the end of the spool, and there's some for things like it's overloaded or it's overheated. But overall, I think this is a pretty neat tool to have. And it's so lightweight, it's just under 20 pounds, and with that handle on the top, it really does earn its name at being a portable winch. Because if you need to get to somewhere where your vehicle can't quite reach, or you just find yourself moving around a lot and you don't want to permanently install a winch like on a trailer, I think this can get the job done for the vast majority of situations for people. Say you've got a downed tree on your farm, or you just need to get something unstuck like a golf cart. But of course, you know your needs better than I probably do. If you need something that's rated a little bit heavier than this, check out the wide variety of winch options we've got on our site and look into some more permanently mounted ones to get that higher rating. But if you have the need for the portability and you're just working with light loads, then I think this could be a really good option for you. My name's Aiden, and thanks for watching.